How often do you find yourself hooked on a movie or show about parallel universes? Welcome back to Beyond the Hub podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon. Today, we're stepping through the screen to explore how parallel universes are portrayed in movies, TV shows, and books. Why do these stories fascinate us so much? That's the question.
I mean, from Stranger Things to The Matrix, we've got a lot to uncover today. So sit back, relax, and join us as we dive into these alternate realities. By the end of this episode, you might just see your favorite shows in a whole new light. Let's start with this. How do you feel when you watch a show like Stranger Things that explores parallel universes? I bet it makes you feel kind of weird knowing that these parallel universes could actually exist.
Right. I know I definitely have when I've seen Stranger Things, but that's because of my pre-existing beliefs on this subject.
Mm-hmm.
Parallel universes are like freaking everywhere in pop culture right now. Like there's shows like Rick and Morty and movies like Doctor Strange. They pull us in with their wild and humorous takes on alternate realities.
And one reason that these stories captivate us is that they let us explore the unknown. They allow us to play with the idea of what if in ways that are thought-provoking and entertaining.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of this subject matter.
I mean, okay, what's your favorite TV show or movie about parallel universes? Share in the comments. We'd love to hear yours.
Mine is Rick and Morty. I know there's a fan base that follows it that gets a little too crazy with the standing on McDonald's counters asking for Szechuan sauce. Well, not even asking, screaming for Szechuan sauce. But I don't associate myself with that aspect of the fan base. I just like the show's subject matter and how they explore these ideas. Like, it's really well done. And I did mention in the other episode in our series this week that they can kind of get away with retconning things in different ways because of the fact that they can just write things off as being, oh, that was parallel universe character that did this. But their basic premise of Rick and Morty, where Rick has the portal gun that can go into different universes or dimensions. I think they're universes. And they exist in this central finite curve of all these existing universes, but that goes way deeper into the story. That basically they can shoot a portal. First of all, that's why I really like it, because portals. But they could shoot a portals into just right in front of them, thin air. Somehow it just stops and opens up, and you step through it. Now you're in a dimension where everything is butt cheeks farting. It's just everywhere is just butt cheeks. You can go into it. One of my favorite dimensions they go into, though, or universe, whichever it is when they go into one where they run through a portal, and I think there's pizzas sitting on people pizzas sitting on phones ordering people. It's hard. I don't remember the exact thing, but basically, you know how in reality people eat pizza, we sit on chairs, and we use phones to communicate with one another. Well, this other universe, the people were chairs, so like the person was in the form of a chair, and I think phones were sitting on the people as chairs. So the phones were people, and they were eating. What were they? They were eating
phones.
No, the phones were the ones sitting on the people, I think. Or were they not eating the people? They just really did a funny, clever way of mixing things up, where when they see people, it'd be like the equivalent of you just sitting in your living room watching TV, and all of a sudden you watch two chairs just pop out of nowhere and sprint through your living room and then go into another portal and disappear. It's like you're looking at your buddy like, what did I just see? Were those chairs sentient and running? Because that's in that universe, the people were the chairs. So like, I don't know, I just find that funny. I didn't do a really good job of explaining it. It's one of those things you gotta see it, and when you see it, you're like, now that's funny.
You know what you said? I've never seen that show.
You've never seen Rick
I've
and
seen
Morty?
like clips of it and like stuff to like know about it, but I've never seen it.
You would really enjoy it,
Yeah.
especially if you like South Park
Yeah.
and Family Guy and American Dad. Yeah, those three, it's along those lines. It's really funny. It's really good. And there are some serious tones and notes in the show as well, where they are actually telling an overarching story and everything does connect, and it somehow is made to make sense, while at the same time continuously posing more and more questions. Like it's really well done. It's a really well done show.
I want to explore further with these examples. So Stranger Things is a good one to start out with, because it's, the idea of an upside down alternate dimension that mirrors our own world, but it's dark and creepy. I mean, that really hooks people into it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that what if, like you mentioned. Yeah. It's that what if, like the way they portray that in Stranger Things. And like I was saying, Rick and Morty, it definitely takes a more funny and chaotic approach.
Mm-hmm.
Like the show, it plays with ideas of endless universes, and each has their own version of reality, and something little could be changed. Like there's an episode where they have to find a new reality to live in, like the main host of characters, Rick and Morty, and their family, because they did something so catastrophic in theirs that kind of destroyed it, and they had to go escape to another one, and they find another reality that's so very close to theirs, but the only difference is that they pronounce Parmesan cheese Parmesan, and that was how that episode ended. They're like, oh, this reality seems pretty close to what we were doing, Rick. And Rick's like, yeah, the only thing you got to get used to is Parmesan. And Morty's like, what? Parmesan. I can't get with that. That's so weird. And that was the only difference. It's clever. I think it's really, really well done. But it also explores the idea that only the tiniest little things could change. The Stranger Things does things on a more serious tone. And for those of you who don't know, Rick and Morty is an animated show. It's an adult cartoon. And Stranger Things is live action, real people, casting characters, real sets. So that one it has that more darker and grittier tone, and I think it came out in a time where everybody was really like appreciating the time setting of that show as well.
Yeah,
like flashing back to the late 70s, early 80s as it was, right? Or was it 80s in general? Was it 80s?
I want to
going into
80s. 90s. It's got more of like a 70s or 80s vibe to it.
It's got like a late 70s to early 80s vibe. But I think that they're about to go into the 90s, like where they are right now in that show. I think it's late 80s. I think it might be. I don't necessarily remember, but it's got that vibe.
I mean, you watch each season, and then it takes 4 years for the next one to come out, and you kind of like forget.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next season.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they don't butcher it with wokeify shit. I don't like that. Tell a good story. Keep the story going. Don't interject some bullshit into there nobody's asking for. Come on.
Now I want to bring up this one. The Matrix is another classic example. So now it brought up the idea that our reality is just a simulation controlled by external forces. And this concept alone has sparked a lot of debates about the nature of our own existence.
Yeah, and we can't forget Interstellar, which we have referenced multiple times on our episodes here, and it shows more scientific theories, more academic scientific theories. about parallel universes and dimensions, mixing them into a story about love, sacrifice, and human survival. Very interesting take on that. But what about you guys? Which of these movies or shows made you think differently about a reality? And if you haven't seen these, then maybe check them out.
Interstellar, always.
Yeah.
I've only seen that movie once. I can't watch it again.
I watched it 3 times.
Have you? I don't know if I could watch it again. It's just it blew my mind so hard at it. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
I wanted to see what I would notice differently about it, knowing how it wraps up at the end. And I wanted to see if I watched it again, if that different lens would help me understand as they're going through the movie in that time, because I have that knowledge of what explains it. So now I'm paying attention to different things in the scene than my initial watch. I watched it once by myself, second time by myself, and then I watched it once with my wife, second time by myself, and third time with another friend. That's what it was. The second time by myself was like, that was so good, I need to watch it again. Third time was telling a friend about it. I'm like, you got to watch this. And they're like, oh, okay. And we're hanging out. And there was, I forget what we were, I think it was on a streaming service or something. I put it on and I ended up getting sucked into it and hanging out and watching the whole movie again.
I think the problem is
that long. It's long, but it's not that long.
I think the problem is I watched it when it first came out in theaters.
I didn't see it in theaters.
And I think that's why, like, you watch movies that are that, like, mind-altering when you're younger, you don't really, it's hard to watch them again.
That wasn't that old.
I know I wasn't, like, I was definitely a teenager, but I wasn't.
No way.
What?
That movie came out on, like, 2014 or something, didn't it?
I want to say, like, 13. Google it. Google it.
Oh, I gotta look this up. Guys. 2000. Oh, Interstellar.
I thought I was younger. Interstellar release date.
It'll tell the day when it just pops up. 2014.
2014. Why did I think I was younger?
2014.
I was so naive.
That was only 10 years ago. So, with that being the case,
so I was 17? Yeah. 16 or 17? I was just a wee lad.
I'm only like 3 years older than you.
I know. Why do I think? You know what? The problem is I'm so old right now.
Yeah.
That my memory's going, so I don't even remember.
That makes sense. Yeah. Early onset dementia when you're 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look up to you, you know.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, I saw Interstellar. I missed it in theaters because at the time I wasn't able to go and see it in the theaters. I really wanted to, but I caught it when it came out in Redbox. So I watched it a little bit after it came out in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
But Redbox movies, like, they would be on there from the theaters within 6 months.
Oh, I saw that on the History Channel.
Redbox?
Yeah.
What? What the heck are you talking about?
Just messing with
I rented the DVD for me and my wife to watch it. Mm-hmm. At the time, she was just my girlfriend, and we had our apartment together, and we watched it. We watched it in our apartment together. It was a really good movie. 2013 was that 2011? Yeah, 2 years later. Yeah,
did this happen already?
This happened. This is how it happened. Yep, I remember that. We watched it in our living room.
Do we have this question already?
What question?
Did we already talk about this? Are we in a parallel universe right now?
Deja vu?
Huh?
Yeah. So, let us know if you guys have seen these movies, how they made you feel, what they made you think. And if you haven't, check them out. Movies or TV shows, whatever is more your style. If you're into Interstellar's kind of topic, definitely check that one out first. But, The Matrix is definitely a favorite of mine. Rick and Morty, my favorite. For this interdimensional topic, I'll separate them. Rick and Morty is my favorite for the animated aspect, and for the live action aspect, Interstellar.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of the shows and movies we just mentioned are still all on the top of our lists, both of us, except for he hasn't seen Rick and Morty. So
yeah. And now, if you're not into any of those, And I mean, parallel universes aren't just limited to TVs and movies. We have books and we have graphic novels that take us into these other worlds. For example, His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. I heard this one is a fantastic series that explores multiple worlds. The story follows a young girl named Lyra as she travels between different universes, uncovering deep philosophical questions and adventures along the way.
Have you read that one?
No, I've not. I heard about that one.
No? That sounds interesting. I want to check it out. And I also heard of Blake Crouch's Dark Matter, which is about a guy named Jason who gets kidnapped and wakes up in an alternate version of his life. Sounds kind of similar to like Groundhog Day a little bit.
Yeah, I'd like to read this one.
The book really makes you think about the choices that we make and how they could lead to totally different lives in another universe. So it's kind of a callback to our first episode of this series.
And then there's this other one. It was a more of a graphic novel called The Sandman. It's a series by Neil Gaiman. This series blends mythology, history, and fantasy. It follows Morpheus, the Lord of Dreams, as he navigates through various realms and interacts with gods, demons, and other mythological beings.
I'm going to be checking that one out this week.
Yes?
Because that sounds right up my alley. And the name Morpheus I find interesting because that was also the name of
the Matrix.
The guy in the Matrix that basically guided Neo. So I just found that was interesting. Maybe this guy was inspired to use that name from the Matrix. Maybe it has nothing to do with it. I don't know. But it's the only other place I've ever heard of the name Morpheus.
Morpheus. Have you ever read any books or graphic novels about parallel universes? Which one spoke to you the most? Let us know.
Yeah, definitely suggest some for us to check out in the comments if, some of them really actually have a special place in your heart. I would definitely love to check some out.
But why do we love these stories so much? One reason is that they let us explore big questions about existence, identity, and I think the nature of reality itself.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest reason, actually. It's because they help us explore this. These stories give us space to ponder and pontificate on the questions like,
indubitably,
what if things had happened differently? Or are there other versions of me living different lives in other universes? So these books and these TV shows and movies have different mediums to help you get through that thought process, because you can only think as far as you can. If you have another person's perspective or a whole writer team's perspective for a TV show or something, that can help you be like, whoa, wait, that's a really interesting perspective I've never thought about. Then you apply that to the way you're thinking about things already, and things just branch out from there. So in a way, just the thought process is in itself parallel, infinite, expanding, different arms of universes coming from it.
I think they also tap into our curiosity and our desire to understand the unknown. I like kind of what you're saying, like engaging with these stories allows us to stretch our imaginations and consider possibilities beyond of our experiences. Maybe the more we dive into these stories, the more theories we come up with, sparking new ideas and maybe even leading to like real discoveries.
I think that's a big component to leading to the real discoveries. What about you guys? What do you think that we love so much about these parallel universes, like the media that surrounds this idea? Why, if you guys aren't interested in it, let us know why you do think it's not interesting. If you are interested in it and just as captivated as Nick and I are, what about it actually captivates you guys? Share that with us in the comments below.
Now, here we go. I want to speculate just a little bit here. What if the concept of parallel universes in movies and TV shows is more than just fiction? Could these stories be tapping into something real that we haven't fully understood yet?
That's an interesting idea. Like, the idea of the multiverse theory in modern physics, which suggests that there could be countless parallel universes, each with different versions of events and realities. That's something interesting to really, really try to understand and think about.
I mean, it's crazy to think that these fictional worlds might be reflecting real scientific possibilities. I mean, we've talked about in other series about how Hollywood and the elites might be dropping hints and clues about things they know, but they think we're too stupid to comprehend it all at once. I mean, so instead, they expose us to these little ideas. These ideas like little by little. I mean, maybe the shows like Stranger Things and movies like Interstellar, they could be easing us into these concepts so that when they eventually reveal that it's all real, it doesn't overwhelm us.
I don't think that they're doing this intentionally for the good of humanity, to out of the benevolent kindness of all of these elites saying, oh, we don't want these people to be overwhelmed, we'll just trickle it down. No, I think they're keeping the truth from us because the nature of these people is to lie. And they don't. If we knew the truth, we would be empowered because the truth is empowering. So that's where I think it's happening. And I also think that it's not necessarily sprinkles of little truth in there just to time things differently. I think it's more letting us know what's to come in ways.
Ah, yes.
Like I think the term predictive programming. I think that there is an aspect where they're conditioning us to accept these realities gradually, so it doesn't hit us all at once. I believe there's an aspect of that, but I think that it's more. I believe that it's more likely the case that the majority of the reasoning behind why they do that is not for our benefits, but for our detriment as a human population as a whole. That's where I go with it.
So like putting us in that position so maybe we're not affected by it, but like we're overwhelmed by so much we just don't care. And so they can kind of do what they want.
That's part of it. Yeah, I think
that's what this.
I think it's
multifaceted.
I think it's multifaceted.
Yeah,
because there's also like the potential of you seeing it in a movie or not trying to offend anybody, but a normie, somebody who doesn't really pay attention to like news or world events or anything like that, and they're just in their little bubble doing whatever they want in their little world. Let's say all the media they're exposed to is, fictional science fiction. And there's a movie that shows that aliens were invading the Earth and they were attacking us and blah, blah, blah. And it turns out at the end of the movie, it was just, a huge ruse. It was just a giant psyop to try to convince people that aliens were coming for some whatever intention that these world leaders wanted, and they used this holographic technology to make everybody see things that weren't really there. And that sounds eerily similar to the Project Bluebeam conspiracy theory, where they will usher in a one world government to using the threat of an existential or extraterrestrial threat. All humanity must unite under this. So like that's a conspiracy theory is what's really going to happen. And I believe that Hollywood might use media to desensitize people to that, so that people will see that and be like, that's not going to happen. These people are crazy. That was a movie, dude. Why are you sure you didn't stay up too late watching the movie? Did you have a little bit too much to drink while you watched a movie? Like, it makes people think other people are crazy because they come out here and say, little bit of truth with lots of they expand on it a lot with some fancy production value.
The king of gaslighting.
Yeah. No, that's the purpose of it too. I think it's multifaceted.
Yeah. I mean, what do you all think? Could these stories be hinting at real scientific phenomena though? Or are filmmakers and these other higher up people dropping clues about what they know or what they want you to think you know? We'd love to hear your theories.
I do think that regarding that specific this specific thing they do, Stranger Things, with the way they access the Upside Down and the underground lab in Hawkins.
Kind of like the CERN thing.
It's kind of like CERN and kind of like portals. Like, they go into that portal, and there's other portals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's actually portals. So, like, is that the little hint of grain of truth there? I don't know. That's up for you guys to decide.
But that is going to be a wrap on our third and final episode in the paranormal universe. Parallel universe.
Paranormal parallel universe.
It's all the same thing. It's all paranormal in this series. We've explored some amazing stories and theories today.
While we may not have all the answers, exploring these mysteries helps us keep the conversation going.
And so do your theories and comments. They fuel our discussion, so please keep them coming. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. If you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and click that little bell and share your thoughts below. Maybe we can hear how you've connected the dots, so to speak, between the episodes.
Yeah, and remember, the exploration continues. We can't wait to have you back for even more revelations. Don't miss our live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our top paranormal stories of the week, straight from our Facebook group. It is your chance to discuss all the theories we've covered, share your experiences, and explore even deeper with us live. So until then, stay curious and keep seeking the truth.
Until next time, this is Beyond the Hub podcast, where the realms of the paranormal and conspiracies collide. And the truth is waiting to be unveiled. We'll see you soon.
Take care, everybody.